Hello guys, now I'm going to be solving the homework 3. Homework 3. This is going to be all about triangles. So just be aware of this topic because it is a combination of the two topics before, angles and more angles. Now, the first problem is going to be for us to be identifying between acute, obtuse, and right triangles. Well, this is easy. The acute, you need to find some acute angle. Remember, if the angle is less than 90 degrees, it is an acute angle. A right angle. Well, in this case, it's not angles, it is triangles. If the triangle has an angle that all angles less than 90 degrees, it means that it is an acute angle. Right angle means that at least one angle is 90 degrees, and obtuse angle means, well, it is above 90 degrees. At least one angle, at least one angle is bigger than 90 degrees. In this case, we analyze the first triangle. We can see it has a right angle, at least one. In this case, it has at least one, so it makes this triangle a right triangle. The next one, we can see that it has an obtuse angle, meaning that it is above 90 degrees. As it has at least one angle that is bigger than 90 degrees, that automatically made this an obtuse angle. Now for the next one, as you can see, all three angles are less than 90 degrees, so by definition that all angles are less than 90 degrees, that makes it an acute angle. And for the last one, we can observe as the second one, it has an obtuse angle. An obtuse, remember, is bigger than 90 degrees, so this makes it an obtuse angle. Now for the next one. As you can see, they are asking us to find an angle measurement for a triangle sharing a side with another triangle. This little mark here and here, I'm going to write this here. This mark means that the side is the same length. Okay? So it has at least two sides. Okay, I'm going to write this here. Two sides of the same length makes this an isosceles triangle. Okay? That's some definitions you need to know. Now, they're asking us to find the value of x. As you can see, they're asking for x. X is this angle. Now, for definition of an isosceles triangle, as we can see, these are the same length. It means that all the same lengths, I'm sorry, the angles that share those two sides that are of the same length are of the same, in this case, on the same value. In this case, it will also have the value of x. Now, to be solving this, they're giving us this value, 48 degrees. We know that this is a value of 48 degrees, but also we know, as this is a plane that is divided by an angle, this is a supplementary, I'm going to write it here, a supplementary angle or supplementary angles, meaning that this the sum of these two angles is how much? That is correct. It is 180 degrees. So we're going to find the value of this angle in order to have the value of these two angles that have the value of x. That's why I add 2x. Why? Because I'm going to write here all internal angles of triangles is equal to how much? That is correct, 180 degrees. This is going to make sense now that I'm going to be solving this. First, we need to know how much is this one. I'm going to write here. This angle is, no, it's going to be, I'm going to erase here. The sum of this angle that we do not know yet plus 48 degrees is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Why? Because they are supplementary. Okay? Just remember these names. You need to remember, you need to be paying attention to these classes. Please be taking some notes, what I say, what do I write, because all of this is going to help you in your test, in your partials. Now, we need to find this value. So we need to isolate this one. We know that it is going to be 180 degrees minus 40 degrees. How much is this? Again, I'm going to be repeating this a lot. Use your scientific calculator. It is going to be 132 degrees. So we know that this angle is going to be 132 degrees. Why is this important, you ask? I'm going to show you. But first, I'm going to be repeating. You need to have your scientific calculator. Why? Because during the exam, you're only allowed to be having this. You're not allowed to be having your phones or using your computers in another tabs, using your internet browsers. No, you're not allowed to be doing that. Now, what do we do with this value? The value of 132. We know that this x, this value of x, this angle here, this angle here is going to be the same as this angle here. How can we write that? Remember, all internal angles of triangles are 180 degrees. So 132 plus x plus x is going to be equal to how much? Yes, 180 degrees. Remember, we need to put the values of x to the left, in this case x plus x, to the other side is going to be the values without the x, without the numbers. 180 minus 132. Okay? We do the addition. We solve this equation. Is going to be, remember, be paying attention, 2x equals, what is this result? 180 minus 132 is going to be 48. Now x is going to be 48 over how much? 2. Now again, 48 over 2 is going to be 24. So the value of x is 24. Yes. Do we know, do we need to be doing something else? No. Why? Because they are asking to find the value of x. Just the value of x. Imagine if this was another expression, for example, x minus 2, we only need to be finding the value of x. I'm sorry for the color, but the value of x. In this case, 24. Okay? Now, the next one. This is easy. This is with our dear friend Pythagoras. Do you remember your Pythagorean theorem? Your Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What is c? C is always going to be the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is going to be the diagonal. There's going to be the longer part of triangle. Okay? This is what you need to know about this. The hypotenuse. Usually A and B is A and B. We can put it the other way. For example, this can be B and this can be A, but usually put the A to the side that is horizontal and B to the side that is vertical. Why? It doesn't matter that much because they're going to be a sum of these two. But just put this to the horizontal and this one to the vertical side, please, to the vertical. Now, as you can see, they are asking us to be solving how much is the value of this side. In this case, B. They're giving us some data. Has a 4-meter line attached to it. They're saying that this line that is attached to the kite is 4. Okay, so that means that C, okay, I'll be writing here, C is going to be 4. And this line is pulled out and casts a 3-meter shadow, so the shadow of this line is going to be 3. Remember, A is going to be 3. Now we need to find the value of B. As we can see, the height of the kite. In this case, B, this one. Using Pythagorean theorem, we know that A squared plus B squared is going to be C squared. We need to substitute the values. I'm going to change the color. Yes, 3. A is going to be 3 squared plus B squared, and that is going to be equal to C squared. C is 4 squared. Before we even begin to multiply to use the square, we need to be isolating for B. Now we need to be putting B in in isolation. B is going to be 4 squared. This is plus, so it goes to the other side with a minus. Minus 3 squared. This is correct up to this point. Now we need to get rid of this part, the square part, right? To be getting rid of this part of the square, the opposite part, for example, the opposite part of a square is going to be the square, sorry, is going to be the square root of that value. For example, in this case, to get rid of this square part, it's going to be with the square root of the whole thing. In this case, it's going to be 4 squared minus 3 squared. We continue. B is going to be, we can put all of this in our calculator, but we can do this the old ways. 4 times 4 is going to be 16. 3 times 2 is going to be 9. But remember, minus 3 times minus 3 is going to be 9 positive. Why? Because negative times negative is going to give us positive. Remember that. I'm going to put that in this color. It's going to give us positive. So it's going to be positive 9. Now, the square root, I'm going to be continuing here. So we can keep track. B is going to be the square root of how much is 16 plus 9? 25. Right? Now I'm going to be using my calculator. It seems that we have a problem here. Sorry. Okay. Now that I have made my calculation, sorry again for this part. I'm going to be erasing this. Don't worry. Because I put this in my calculator, they're giving me this value. B is going to be the square root of 7. Yes. Why? I will be explaining this part. Remember that I explained this part? I made a little mistake. Uh, I could say a rookie mistake, because this calculation is going to be this one minus this one is going to be 9. So which is this result? 16 minus 9 is going to be 7. So B is the square root of 7. And which is this value? If we put it in decimal parts, in decimal form, it's going to be 2.6457. I usually took always 4 decimals. They are asking us to be rounding our answer to the nearest tenth. You remember what I said before? The first number is tenth, the second is hundredth, The third one is 1000. So in order to be rounding to the nearest tenth, we need to pay attention to the next number. In this case, it's the 4. We round up if it is above 5. If it is about 5, we put this number to the next number. In this case, as it is 4, it is not above 5, it stays the same. So the answer for B is going to be 2.5, in this case, meters. Okay? This is the answer for this problem. Now this is something really interesting. This is going to be easy. Do not worry, I'm going to be explaining this for you. They are asking us to be getting the answer for the segment LM, meaning the segment going from L to M. So this part. Okay? If we use Pythagorean, we can put it that the value of 15 is going to be A, and the value of 37 is going to be it's going to be C. So we will need to find B. But no, actually LM. We can actually do this without these ones. Why? Because they are already giving us A, C, and B. We have A plus B squared is going to be equal to C squared. A squared is going to be 15, right? 15 squared. B is going to be B squared, of course. And C squared is going to be 37 squared. Now, we're going to be solving this. We need to isolate B, so it's going to be B squared is going to be 37 squared minus 15 squared. So B, no, not the square. We're going to be getting rid of the square. So B is going to be the square root of 37 squared minus 15 squared. Yes. I'm putting this in my calculator, and that is going to keep us. Nope, that is not correct. Why? Okay. Give me a minute, please. Yes, I have checked this, and I need to make some calculations. I'm going to be erasing this. I need to be explaining something interesting about this circle. Pythagorean problem only works, well, Pythagorean theorem only works on right triangles. As you can see, the right triangle is the bigger one, right? This part. This one is not a right triangle. Why? Because it does not have this right angle. So in order to be solving this, we need first to find the value of this one. Why? Because it's going to be the value of A, this is going to be the value of C, and this whole part is going to be the value of B. And the value of this segment, LM, is going to be the value of B minus this part that we already know. That is going to be 9. Okay, but how do we find B? First, we need to find A. A, we have a right triangle here. We need to find the value of A. So it's going to be A squared plus B squared is going to be C squared. In this case, we can take the value of 9 as B in this case. We start A, we do not know the value of A. Now we do know the value of B. The B is 9. So it's going to be A squared plus 9 squared, and the value of C is going to be this 15. 15 squared. So we isolate A. A is going to be 15 squared minus 9 squared. Yeah, sorry for that. A is going to be the square root of 15 squared minus 9 squared. We do that, we put that in our calculator. It's going to be 15 squared to in the square root is going to give us the value of A is going to give us 12. Okay? A. So we do now know this value. A. I. A. This value, right? Now we're going to find the value of B, this great B, right? We have the value of A. This 37 is going to be the value of C, and we need to find this B. Why? Because we need this B minus 9 to have the value of this segment. Okay? LM. So it is going to be, again, with Pythagorean. Remember, Pythagorean is always with right triangles. Right triangles are the triangles that have at least a right triangle that has 90 degrees. Okay? Now we continue. A, we have found that A is 12. So 12 squared plus B squared, we do not know. We know that the value of B squared is B squared. And C is the value of 37. 37 squared. We isolate for B squared is going to be 37 squared plus, no, not plus. Why? Because 12 here is a positive, so it goes to the other side as negative. Minus 12 square. Now, B is, no, not square, because we're going to get rid of the square. The square is going to be, B is the square root of 37 squared minus 12 squared. So in this case, B is going to be the result of this part. It's going to be the square root of 37 squared minus 12 squared. If we put this value in the calculators and we solve it, we know that the value is going to be 35. B is 35. This whole B, in this case the B that is green, is going to be 35. We need to know this value of LM. LM. We know that LM is going to be the whole value of B is going to be B minus the value that we know, that is going to be 9. So it's going to be LM is going to be B minus 9. We substitute the value of B. B is going to be how much? That is correct. 35 minus how much? 9. So LM is going to be 35 minus 9. I can put that. But LM is going to be 26. That's correct? Yes, 26. Okay, we go to the next one. This is going to be, It is simple. You remember how do we do this? First, we need to send the first part to proof. We need to send it to proof. We send this part to proof, and it automatically gives us or asks us why. Why do we write given here? Why? Because they said it right here. It is given to us. This part is true. Why? Because they said it to us. That is the explanation of this part. Now, we need to find something before we send this proof to proof. Before we send this part, we need to have something that is similar in this part. In this case, we can see that this angle in T is going to be the same for these two triangles. Why? Because we can see these two triangles are one small triangle and one big triangle. Since these lines are on the same side, on the same expression, we can say that this angle is the same as this angle. Also, we can put this little triangle like this one, and this little triangle like this one. And remember, because of the properties of the vertical angles, this angle is going to be the same as this angle because they are opposite by this vertex. Okay? But in this case, this is called a reflexive property. You need to remember this. The angle in the point T is going to be the same as the angle in point T. In this case, we will put this as T and T, and this reflexive property says that these two angles are going to be the same. We put this part to reflexive property. We put here to validate. We validate this expression, and then we can send our triangles to proof. In this case, I say the triangle made by the points R, S, and T is going to be the same as B, U, and T. Okay? We put it that this is correct, but why? How it is similar? Remember, we have only two types. One is the side angle side. How do we know that? Because it is expressed like this. The segment TR, which is the segment TR, the whole segment from T and R is the same as T and S. Okay? As well as these two are congruent. These two are also congruent. So we have angle, an angle here. No, no, sorry. We have a side because these sides are the same. This side, we have in this part an angle, and in this part we have another side. So it is side, angle, side, similarity, property. Remember, in this part you always need to write the similarity property, be it as SAS or as AA property. But remember always similarity. Okay? Now we can continue to the next one. Okay, this is easy, this is fun. They're asking us to use the Pythagorean theorem and the quadratic equations to find the side lengths of a right triangle. Remember that right triangle, it needs what? A right angle. Okay, a right angle is 90 degrees. They say we can write our angle here, our triangle here. The problem says that the longer leg of a right triangle is 25 centimeters more than 7 times the length of the shorter leg. Okay, and the length is of the hypotenuse is going to be 26 centimeters more than 7 times the length of the shorter leg. We need to find the side lengths of the triangle. Okay, using this logic, the shorter leg is going to be this one, and this one we can name it as x. Why? Because they are asking us, or not asking, but saying us that the longer leg, this is the short leg, okay? This is going to be the short leg. The longer leg is going to be this part. Why? Because we named this part's length, and this diagonal is going to be the uh, hypotenuse. Okay? This diagonal is going to be the hypotenuse. So this is the shorter leg. Now the longer leg is 25 centimeters more than 7 times the length of the shorter leg. So it's going to be 7 times the value of this part, of, meaning the shorter leg, plus 25. Now the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse says that, again, 7 times of the shorter leg plus how much else? 26. Now we need to find the values of all three sides. How can we begin? By finding the value of x, of x, of x, and then substituting that value in this part. How can we do this? Again, Pythagorean. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now a squared is going to be this one, a squared plus b squared, and remember hypotenuse is always going to be c. Now a squared is going to be 7x plus 25 squared plus the value of x is going to be x squared. It's going to be equal to 7x plus 26 squared. You remember how to solve this? Don't worry. It's going to be like this. I'm going to be writing this. Remember how to solve the square equations. It's going to be a plus b squared is going to be a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. This is the equation. This is how you solve this. In this case, we can put the first one as a and the second as b. Again, a and b. So the first part, a squared. 7 times this part, 7 times 7 is going to be 49x squared plus 25 times 7 times 2 is going to be, and in this equation 25 times 7 times 2, 350. Now 25 squared is going to be 625. Something that I forget is this x. This x stays here. Why? Because it is the multiplication of the coefficients, but the x stays. Now the next part is going to be x squared, just like that. Okay? Now the next one, again, 7 squared. 7x squared is going to be 49x squared plus, again the coefficient 7 times 26 times 2 is going to be 364 plus 26 squared is going to be 676. You remember how to do this? How to come from here? We need to isolate all the x's to one side. In this case, it's going to be, no, we need to put all the values to one side, and then we can make all this equal 0. So we can cancel some values. In this case, it's going to be 49 squared plus 350x squared plus 625 plus x squared. Now minus 49x squared minus 364. I forgot in this case again the x that was here. So it's going to be x minus 676. All of this is going to be equal to 0. Why 0? Because we put all the values to one side, so it has a value of 0 on the other side. Now we can cancel these values. In this case, it's going to be these ones because these are the same. Now 350x. Remember, we need to add or subtract the values that have the same value in x. In this case, it's going to be 350 minus 364 minus 14x. Okay, these ones. Now this value 625 minus 676 is going to give us the value of minus 51. Okay, now this value of x is going to be staying the same here, x squared. All of this is going to be 0. Now, how do we make all of this in a equation? In how can we factorize this part? Okay, this is going to be really simple. It's going to be x squared. Remember, you need to know how to factorize all these parts. Okay. Now, if we do this, remember we need. Do you remember how to factorize these parts? We need to find some values. Okay, I'm going to be writing this here. We need to find the values that multiplying are going to be equal. Okay, So we start with the x here and x here. As this value is minus, we need to find some value of plus and some value of minus. We need to find a value that multiplying is going to give us 51 multiplying, but adding those two numbers are going to give us the value of 14. How do we do this? We need to be doing this part of factorizing the numbers. 51. 51. How can we multiply, factorize this? Uh, we can do this with 2. No, if we divided this by 2, we do not have a whole number. But if we divide this by 3, this number is going to be 17. 17 times 3 is going to be 71. This number, it is a whole prime number, so 17 over 17 is going to give us the number 1. So this is the value of how can we factorize this number 51 between 3 and 17. And we can see that these numbers give us the reason of 51. And also, if we do this something like this, if we put the 3 as positive and the 17 as negative, 17 minus 3 is going to give us, no, minus 17 plus 3 is going to give us minus 14. So these are the values of x. Now we need to find x1. x1 is going to be x1 plus 3 is going to give us 0. x1 is going to give us minus 3. Now the next value of x minus 17 equals 0 is going to be equal to 17. In this case, this is x2. Which value do we have? In this case, the 17 that is positive. Why? Because these numbers, we need a number that is positive. So x, we know that is 17. So now we substitute it. I'm going to be writing this part here. Actually, we have the value of x, right? In this part, I'm going to be writing here b. b is the value of x. So the value of x is 17. Okay, so we know that b is 17. b is 17. Now we take for a. A is going to be how much? 7 times x plus 25. So it's going to be 7 times 17 plus 25, right? If we do this operation, it's going to be 17 times 7. 7 times 17. Now that plus 25 is going to give us the value of A of 144, okay? Now we need to find the value of C. I'm going to be writing right here. C is 7 times x plus 26, which is 7 times 17, and that times 26. That value is going to be 145. Okay? Now, if we substitute the values of A, B, and C, we can see that the value of A, which is the value of No, which is of the short leg? The short leg is going to be B. Okay, B is going to be 17. The longer leg, A. A, which is the value of A? 144. Okay, right. And now the hypotenuse, meaning that is C, is going to give us how much? C? 145. That is the correct answer for this part. Now we're going to be finding the value of x with an extended side. Remember what I said, all the internal angles of the triangle is going to give us a value of 180 degrees. This is a supplementary angle, which means that this angle, we put it like angle 1 plus 138 is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Now the angle 1 is going to give us 100 degrees minus 138. The angle 1 is going to give us okay 42. This angle is 42. Okay, angle 1 is 42. Remember this, 42. Why do we need to remember this? Because the angles between the triangle are going to give us 180 degrees. So angle 1 times 5 times 50, no, times no. Angle 1 plus 51 plus x is going to give us 180 degrees. To write it here. Angle 1 plus 51 plus x is going to give us 180 degrees. We know that angle 1 is going to give us 42, so it's 42 plus 52 plus x is going to give us 180 degrees. Now we isolate for x because we need to find that value of x, of course. So x is going to give us 180 minus 42 minus 51. If we do that operation, it's going to give us the value of 87. And guess what? That is the correct answer. X is going to give us 87. Okay? Now we're going to identify congruent triangles. This part is easy. You need to remember some theory that in order to be congruent, we need at least three, remember, three conditions of congruence. Congruence mean similar, okay, that are of the same length, of similar length, okay. We analyze the first part, the first triangle. We have one condition that is congruent, okay. We have two conditions that are congruent, okay. That is all they say to us. But remember this figure. We can see these triangles as these parts. They are already giving us this one, this one, this one, and this one, okay? But as they are together, next to next, we can say that these two are similar. Why? Because of the reflexive property. Okay, now that we know that they have one, two, and three similar conditions, congruent conditions, we can analyze and say which are these conditions. We can say that these sides are the same, right? We have another side that is the same. We have another side, right? So we have one, two, three sides. So the condition is going to be side, side, and side congruency property. Okay? Okay. Now we go to the next one. In these triangles, they're giving us one condition here, that is an angle, right? One condition here that is a side, and one condition here that is another angle, okay? Now we analyze the next one. They have, well, not they have, they give us one condition here that is a side, one condition here that is an angle, and another condition that is an angle. If we can see the first triangle is going to be an angle, side, and another angle condition, okay? But this is not the same as the same triangle because they given us a side, if we with this part, side, an angle, and another angle. Why? Because these are consecutives. Because they do not match with this part, we can say that they are not necessarily congruent. That's the condition. They need to be the same condition in all three parts. Okay? Now we go to the third part, to the third triangles. We have a condition here that is 2, a condition here that is 1, and a condition here that is 1. It's a side, an angle, and an angle, okay? Now we analyze the next one. Angle 1 and angle 1 are the same. We have again an angle. We have a side, and then we have another angle, okay? Angle 2 and angle 2. So we can say that this is an angle, angle, because I'm starting counting here, angle, angle, side, okay? And this is the same as you can start here, an angle, and a side, okay? I put it that is not the same, but yes, they are. Angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. So we know that they are congruent, this one here, but also by the property of angle, angle, and side. Now, how do we name these conditions? For example, this is the triangle A, B, and C, and D, okay? A, B, and C, okay, this A, B, and C is going to be the same as, if we put it like they were in a mirror, the A will be the D, so we start the A, the D, the B stays the same, and the C stays the same, okay? That's how we name the triangle. Now in the next one, the U. The U is going to be this one, the U, which is the same as the U, which has the same side, the Y. So the U, the triangle U, is going to be the same as Y. Now we start with the next one. B. This B with the two, no, with the one triangle is the same as X, right? As they have also a one triangle. So the UB, the U, the V is going to be the same as X, okay? As X. And now the last one is going to be W. W in this part, this one, It's going to be the same as which point also has to the angle to C. That's how we name these parts. This is how we solve congruent triangles. Now we go to the next part. This is really easy. Finding the side lengths and angle measurements of isosceles and equilateral triangles. Now, I'm going to write in here. Equilateral. Same length all sides. Okay? This side and this side and this side are going to be of the same length. Also means that all its angles are going to be of the same value. Same value and angles. Which means it's going to be the 180 degrees over 3, because there are three angles are going to be, the angles are, all of its angles going to be 60 degrees of the equilateral triangles. Okay? You can see here 60, 60 and 60. They are saying that this side is 8, so this side and this side are the same size, so, or the same length, so the segment A and B is going to be also 8. Okay? Now, with the isosceles triangle, it has two triangles, a triangle with two of same length, which means that the angle, in this case, it has an angle, this one is 30, okay? There is 30 degrees. These two angles, angle D is going to be the same as angle F. How can we find this? As these two are the same value of angles, the value of 138 is going to be minus 2 times the value of, in this case, D, or it can be the value of F is going to be, oh no, sorry, like this, no. The value of 30 degrees plus 2 times the value of D, or 2 times the value of F, is going to be 180 degrees. So we only need to be solving this. In this case, we need to find the value of F, okay? F is going to be, okay, 2 times the value of F is going to be 180 degrees minus 30. This is going to be 2 times the angle of F equals 180 minus 30, 150 degrees. If we isolate this part, it's going to be 150 over 2. And the angle of F is going to be how much? 75. Okay? 75, which is the value of this one, 75. Okay? Now we go to the last one. Completing the proof with congruent triangles using the SSS or side or side angle side properties. This is going to be really easy, as it is very straightforward. They're giving us two statements. We need to put the first statement here. RS, here RS is congruent to the segment TU, so we write here the TU. Why? Because it is given to us here. They say it is given. So the segment ST is the same as the segment UR, okay? Why? Because they have given it to us. Again, given. Now they say those that because of the reflexive property, we need to find that RT, this value and this value, is the same to another segment. In this case, to each other. RT again. Why? Because of the reflexive properties. Because we can put this triangle here and this triangle here, and these two are going to have the same length as we can see here. So the reflexive property. So we have a side that is the same, a side that is the same, and the side that is the same. We have the side congruency property. So this is the solution for homework number 3.